So for today's stock market pick, I'm going to tell you you should buy Twitter stock. I think Twitter is a growing company. It gets bigger every year. I think Twitter gains about 20 million users every single year. It's probably at about 500 million. Uh, is it monthly active users? It's like 500 million monthly active users, which is a huge amount, especially globally. It's a huge. Twitter has a huge amount of monthly active users. Twitter is a very popular website. It's a very popular app on a phone. It is one of the biggest forms of communication people will have in the future is Twitter. There will be other forms of communication like YouTube vlogs and TikTok vlogs and all that stuff, but Twitter is going to be a huge form of communication moving forward. There will be other apps that come along that usurp Twitter, but Twitter will adapt. Twitter will keep pushing the ball forward and keep moving the game in a positive direction. Okay, Twitter is a communication app, and I think Twitter will continue making our communication worlds better. People will have blogs on Twitter. People have audio spaces on Twitter. They are going to keep, and people say, "Oh yeah, but Twitter is not monetized." Well, I mean, Twitter's not monetized, but it's. I mean, yeah, I mean, Twitter doesn't make that much money, but Facebook doesn't make that much money either, because like Facebook took the easy way out and made a monetization scheme that only helped what do you call it? They use cookies on people's computers to sell them a bunch of crap they don't need. So Facebook had a monetization scheme. It worked. It made them a lot of money, but it made people buy a bunch of crap they don't need on Facebook on their ads because they have cookies targeting your computer or your cell phone or whatever, or they see what you're buying on your credit card and they give you recommendations of what to buy based on it. Twitter does that too. The problem is, and so people say, oh, Twitter doesn't make any money. You know, the thing is with tech companies is it's not about how much money they make, it's about how much users they have. And the important thing about Twitter is they have a lot of users. And I got news for you, Twitter is not going to figure out how to make money for a long time because they're not going to do some dumb monetization thing, but they will figure out a way to make money. And I believe that Twitter will figure it out. I believe Twitter is a good enough platform. They will create new applications on there that will be monetized or whatever, and they'll figure something out. They'll figure out something for people to buy with the product, and they'll design products for people to buy. I believe Twitter is a positive communication app for mankind. I believe the best way to follow the news is on Twitter. I do not believe the best way to follow the news is on like MSNBC or CNN or whatever. I mean, that's a fine way to follow news too, don't get me wrong. Though by the time it reaches the network news, it's always a couple of days old, a couple of weeks old. There's always a lot of warmongers on the news because they like showing images of stuff blowing up and like, oh, make a big deal about it. Like Richard Engel's like that. Richard Engel always sounds like a warmonger when he talks. He's like the biggest war reporter for NBC, for MSNBC and NBC network. So like if and you always get news a little bit late if you watch network news, or I mean any news on TV. You'll always get news a few weeks late. You'll always learn what happened like 2 weeks ago if you watch the network news. Whereas if you read on Twitter, you're going to get the latest news, the latest of what's going on, the latest communication. And I believe organizing your Twitter feed is a skill that people are going to get better and better at. People are going to realize, okay, this is what I want on my Twitter feed. I want news. I want poetry. I want business analysis. I want technology. I want, hot women. I want all this different stuff on my Twitter feed. And eventually people are going to figure out, okay, these are the things I'm looking for my Twitter feed. So, and people are going to get better at organizing their Twitter feed to be more productive and more organized in their thought process or whatever. So I think people are going to get better at that, and I think it's going to be it's going to be a better situation eventually. Um, I think so. I think Twitter will figure out how to monetize their stock, and it's just a good I enjoy spending time on Twitter. I'm going to be honest. I enjoy spending on Twitter. I used to spend time on forums, and I still spend time on forums on the internet, but I enjoy Twitter more than those forums nowadays because I can curate it exactly how I want it. Twitter's a safe space. Twitter's a safe space for people who, don't have people like me who don't have a whole lot to do in my regular life. So I go on there because I feel comfortable. I feel like it's a place where I can be my real self. Um, I just think it makes sense. I it is someplace I want to be. Twitter is someplace I want to be. It's a place I want to spend time, and I believe you should invest in companies where you want to spend time. You should invest in companies where you want to spend time. That's what I believe in. I believe investing companies in places that you want to spend time. Twitter's part of the metaverse. All the great debates, all the great conversations happen on Twitter, and you want to be part of those debates. You want to be part of those conversations. That's why you want to be on Twitter. And that's why I only joined Twitter. I mean, I was on Twitter for like 12 years now, or 13 years now, but I've only really used Twitter for like 6 years. I've only really been on Twitter for like 6 years. Probably, yeah, about 6 years I've really been on Twitter. Maybe 5 years. Maybe 5 years I've only been. 5 or 6 years. I don't know. But I will use it more moving forward because I create content on Twitter. And the more I type tweets, the more people visit my YouTube channel. So it's a marketing tool. Twitter is great for marketing. I think people underestimate how valuable Twitter is for marketing. And people don't realize how good it is. People are afraid to market their material on there. But a lot of ways other companies could usurp Twitter, like TikTok could usurp Twitter. But I got news for you. A lot of people like text more than video. A lot of people like typing text more than speaking vlogs because there's reasons why people don't vlog all the time. Because there's a hesitancy to vlog because you have to say it out loud, whereas Twitter, you just type it and it's a really simple thing. So I do believe Twitter is a good company. I believe Twitter is going to grow moving forward. I believe every single year they're going to keep adding like 20 to 50 million monthly users. And I believe they're going to continue their monthly users. I believe people are going to spend more time on Twitter. It's going to be used for educational purposes, work purposes. People are going to realize the value of it more and more moving forward. And Twitter is going to keep making more and more products for their service, and they're going to keep improving on it moving forward. This is in the early days. Yeah, you got to understand that. We are in the early days of Twitter. We are in the early days of Web 2.0. I actually don't really believe in Web 3.0, but I do believe in Web 2.0. I believe when we're in the early days of Web 2.0, we still have a long way to go in Web 2.0. I mean, maybe Web 3.0 is a real thing, but from Web 2.0, we have a lot to grow. We have a lot to improve upon. And Twitter is going to be a great application moving forward. It's a great place to make friends, a great place to communicate. It's really a great deal. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Twitter? What do you think of Twitter stock? Do you think Twitter's a smart stock to invest in? I know it's been going down the past year. Well, that's because of, dumb stuff. Well, I don't know why it's going down the past year. Maybe because it hasn't made any money. Twitter's not making any money, so they think it's a bad stock because it's not making any money. I don't believe you shouldn't invest in a technology company just because it's not making any money. I believe if it's a company you believe in, you should invest in. I personally believe in Twitter. Let me know in the comments below. Do you believe in Twitter like I do? Or do you think Twitter's dumb or whatever? Let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe to this channel to be part of the community. And please like this video. It really helps the channel out a lot. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.